Welcome you all to Hebrew Shebrew Green Lights. So green lights definitely seem to be, it can be a topic of discussion for sure. And sometimes it can also be very obvious too in regards to like, well, why do I have to have a green light? Or is this a green light relationship? Or is there yellow lights and red lights that I need to be more concerned about? So today, we're going to talk about green lights. So some green lights, obvious ones, are going to be common interests. Do you have common interests that you enjoy? For myself, I enjoyed hiking and playing games and being able to travel. So I wanted to make sure when Mark and myself were going out that we had that same kind of common interest. Do we both like to play games? Or do we, and I'm talking card games here, okay? Not emotional games, card games. But do we enjoy doing that kind of thing, and do we enjoy traveling as well and exploring new places of where we're at?
Yeah, for me, some of the things that I like to do was I like to do a thing called disc golf. Also like to be outside and hike. I do like to travel. Did that a lot in the past, and I also like to play games. So there was definitely some very good overlap of things there. So we were able to find, those points of common interest to where we would actually be able to enjoy things together that weren't necessarily just studying scripture or praying or going to an assembly together, but there are actually some other common ways that we could just have fun and relax together.
Yeah, and you want to be able to have all of that combined, but also be willing to enjoy your hobbies by yourself too. I don't have to go with Mark all the time to go play disc golf. He sometimes needs his own time to be able to go do that, versus me, I sometimes need my own time to be able to go do what I want to do. And that's okay to have that in a relationship, but it's also good to be able to have that common interest as well. So when you are out somewhere, you are able to have that connection piece and it be not just spiritual stuff too.
So we would call that a green light.
Yeah.
That's something that you're seeing like, oh, that's something that makes me, want to go ahead and proceed further with this relationship because we found this connection point.
Yeah. The other part of it is personality traits. We recommend taking some type of personality trait. There's lots of them out there. You can do a lot of different searches to be able to find one. And in the first couple weeks of us going out, we sat down and went through one of it, and it broke it down based off of like in a relationship, in a marriage, in a career, how is this going to look like? What is your strength? What is your weakness? And that really helped us to be able to see, okay, this is what possibly Mark needs to work on as a weakness, and this is something that I might need to work on as a weakness. And then what is our strength going forward? So when times do get tough, we are able to rely on that person's strength a little bit. And also, for me, I feel like when I have a weakness, I want to pray about and be like, okay, God, help me in that weakness. Help me to be better in that so I can grow and move forward and become better. So I don't have much weakness going on. It's more of a strength or more of a strength.
And when you go through these personality tests, character trait listings, whichever one you find and works for you, it doesn't mean that you need to have the same personality.
Correct.
It means that the personalities need to fit. And sometimes, like having the other person have a strength where you have a weakness is going to be perfect. Let's just say, for example, one person is more introverted while the other person is more extroverted. Well, that means that the person who is introverted is going to have someone who is introverted to help them get out of their shell a little bit and go out and do some things that they just wouldn't go and do on their own, and vice versa. The person who is always extroverted and always out there, sometimes they're going to be able to just kind of get reeled in, and let's just kind of be with just be together and just enjoy some nice quality time together. Just, you're looking for balance.
You want to have the balance in the relationship, and that would be a green flag. The other one would be common teachers or influencers in your life. Who is it that you want to sit down on Shabbat and be able to listen to? And you could listen to them for an hour or 2 hours. And so you want to have that common person that both of you could sit down and you both, maybe not 100% agree with that person. I don't think we're always going to agree 100% with every single person we run into, but somebody that you can sit down and be challenged with and to be able to learn something a little bit more deeper in your walk with God.
One of the things that struck me when Sarah and myself were beginning to court, I mean, of course, we had known each other for a long time before we began to court. But we found out that each of us were heavily influenced by a common teacher. So that certainly on my side, it let me know that, like, okay, I know, like, who one of the more influential persons in her walk is, and it's the same one as me.
Yeah.
So that, let me know, like, there's some common ground here, a lot of common ground.
And that sort of helps on the spiritual side to be able to know, okay, this person listens to this teacher, so they probably believe this way and this way. And that's another part too, is you want to make sure that your common things, how you want to raise your family. If you have kids, or if you're older and your kids are grown already, how do you want to go into retirement? That's going to be a green flag if both of you agree in regards to that. And then when it comes to kids, do you both want to have kids, or are you done having kids? And what does that look like going forward? If you're younger, again, what does that look like? And so you want to be able to have those common things to start off, and that's going to be your green flag when you have some of that common issues that you're able to resolve and also be able to grow together more. And especially when it comes to spiritual wise, you want to be able to agree, where are you going to follow the feast? Are you going to do it just at your local community? Where are you going to live? Are you going to go to other places out of state? And how does that look like? How do you spend your vacation time frame outside of the different feasts? And so those are some green flags that you want to talk about, or some topics to be able to talk about. There's books out there to be able to ask a bazillion questions, and they're random questions to be able to get to know somebody. Sit down, ask some of those questions, and get to know the person. The more you're able to communicate and not just talk spiritual stuff, but the more times you're able to find out about the person, you're going to be able to see, okay, are we compatible or are we not compatible in this matter or in this relationship moving forward? And can this relationship move forward if we have enough green flags per se?
And these are some of the things that I would highly recommend doing rather early in the relationship. You're trying to find out, do you really want to move forward in these things? So some of the things that Sarah just mentioned, getting, some list of just questions to ask that are going to spark a conversation and are going to allow you to learn details about the other person to see whether or not you are a match. Because yes, we want to be on the same page, spiritually. How do you celebrate the festivals? How do you celebrate Shabbat? Do you drink wine? Do you not drink wine? All kinds of questions, like that. How do these things look for you? But that's not all there is to life. Like she said, how do you feel about financial planning? How do you feel about saving? How do you feel about, split income? There's all kinds of, just regular life stuff that you need to find out. Are we on the same page or are we not? Is this a green light? Is this a yellow light? Is this a red light?
Yeah, those are all good things to be able to find out if you can, in the first little while of getting to know the person, and then you can go from there to figure out, okay, do we need to agree to disagree in this? Is this something that is going to cause a division later down the road? Having kids is probably going to be a red flag. If both people do not want to have kids, that's going to be a red flag. So then you learn to move on, and that's okay. It just means that that person is not your person. Don't get offended by it. Don't get upset by it. Just realize that that person is not for you, and that's okay. And move on. God has somebody else that is better for you. So I hope you guys have a fantastic day, and we will chat later.